Hi everyone, welcome to InfosecTrain. And today, on the month of October, we are starting with common attacks on routing. Now, routing is a protocol that how our data will find out the path where we have to go, right? So, the thing is, what attacks can be done on that? So, it's just to give you the awareness that what type of attacks can be given and what types of things attackers can do when while you are sending your data, right? So we'll start with that, but before that, about the infosec train, these are some points about infosec train. If you're really new and you haven't went through the introduction of InfoSec Train. So this is InfoSec Train, and this is Ashish Dhyani. We'll be talking about the attacks, right? Now, the first attack that we have is DDoS, denial of service. Not only denial of service, but the distributed denial of service. Now, what is first the denial of service attack? Now, in denial of service, as you can see over here, what we have these things, we have these victims, right? These are the victims. And what we have all the victims. Now, this is the attacker, this one, right? Now, if we have this attacker, the name that is given to the attacker is bot master, and these are bots. Now, what are bots? First thing, bot is a thing that is commanded and controlled by someone else. Now, who is commanding and control these bots? This bot master. Yep. Now, this bot master is commanding and controlling all of these bots because this bot master has attacked these bots before, these PCs before, and he's now able to access all of these. Now, whatever he will command them, they will perform this. They will perform those instructions. Yep. Now, the thing is, these are the victims. What is denial of service? We are talking about DDoS, but I have only written the full form of DOS only, which is denial of service. Right now, what is denial of service and what is distributed denial of service? Now, denial of service is just let us remove these persons from the between, right? And what we are doing, only the bot master has one PC and he's doing what? He's attacking all these PCs with only one signal at a time, right? Now, one signal at a time means one malicious software at a time. So he's sending one malicious software at a time, and now he's sending some big packets to them. Now, if the attacker is sending from only one source, if there is only one source that is sending the data, that is called denial of service. And if you know that there are things like CI and A, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, this attack is performed on availability, right? Now, this attack is performed on availability if the attackers are unable to attack any website or get inside any website because the security of that website is very good. So what they do, they try to bring down that website. And how they bring down that website, that they send big chunks of packets. Like if I'm sending any packet, it is of 100 bytes of or 10 bytes or 200 bytes. That's normal, right? But if I'm sending any packet that is of 1500 bytes, it's not normal. It will be taken, but it will be not normal. But only if it will be normal only if I'm sending only one packet of 1500 bytes. Now, after that, the thing is, what if I'm sending lots of packets, loads and loads of packets of let's say 65,000 bytes. What will happen then? Will the resources of these victims get start working on? Yes, they will start working on, because for processing that much big data, all the resources will get start working on those packets. And if I'm sending, let's say, 1,000 packets, right? So these 1,000 packets, every packet is of 65,000 bytes, so all those species will crash, because those things do not have that much resources to process those data, that much amount of data, right? Now, what is distributed denial of service? If I'm doing this, if I'm doing denial of service, if my only this bot master, as you can see, this bot master is only sending the packets to the victims, that is fine, but it will take time. But what if I have a lots of workers? Same like that, if we can take the example, if I want to build a house, only if I have one labor or one mason, that person is only one person will take time to build the house. But if I have 15-20 persons who are working to build a house, they will build the house very quickly, more than as compared to the only one, right? So that is the thing about your distributed denial of service. So if we talk about distributed denial of service, the attacker does what? The attacker attacks few PCs. Like in this picture, as you can see, the attacker has attacked few PCs. 1, 2, 3, 4. The attacker has attacked 4 PCs, and all those PCs are bots. Bots means, again I'm repeating, bot means something that is commanded and controlled by someone else. So that is the thing about DDoS. So all these PCs will be sending different malicious software, malicious codes, I would say, malicious codes to the victims. And at one time, if let's say we have only this one PC and these 4 PCs are, these 4 bots are sending some data to the victim, that victim will be we can bring down that victim very quickly as compared to if we have only one device. So that is distributed denial of service, correct? So that is about your distributed denial of service. And in routing part, we can do that if we want to make some device slow down. So if a device is engaged in working with the packets, the big packets that we have sent, so those packets will be those devices will be working slow, and the attacker can do anything else he wants, as he like an ARP poisoning, he can send his own MAC address in place of anyone else, right? So that is first attack in your common attacks on routing. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the next attack, and the next attack is PMA, packet mistreating attack. Now what we understand by packet mistreating attacks is, what happens? Packet mistreating attack will occur during any data transmission while the data is being transmitted. So an attacker can capture the certain data packets and mistreat them. Now, what is the meaning of mistreating over here? The meaning of mistreating means he will be changing some things in the data, not the data only, but he will be changing the MAC addresses, Yep, or the IP addresses. So he can change those things. Now, this type of attack is very difficult to detect, first thing. And if we talk about your PMA, which is your packet mistreating attack, it is of two types. Now, what are those two types? Link attack, link and router, right? Link attack and the router attack. Now, what are these link attacks and router attacks? If we talk about them, for the basics, now the link attack causes interruption, modification, replication of data packets. Yes, what it does the interruption, modification, or replication. Now, router attack can do what? It can misroute all packets and it may result in congestion or denial of service. Same like that. The denial of service that we discussed earlier, same that can be happen over here. Now, what are these things? Now, if we talk about interruption, next thing is modification, then we have replication, and the last one we'll talk about, but first we'll talk about them. Now, this thing, your interruption. Now, interruption means intercepting some packets. Now, we have some tools with like a NetFlow, we have Wireshark, right? These types of tools we use if an attacker is intercepting the packets. He may not be able to allow to be propagated to destinations, but it will result in lower throughput of the network. Now, this type of attack cannot be detected easily because attacker is not changing anything. He is just reading the data. Right now, if he is only reading the data, so that is a very good reason for anyone to find out if there is an attacker or not. But there are nothing that can find out if someone is watching our data. So, if you take an example that someone is taking care of what you are visiting, what websites you are visiting, what networks you are visiting, you will not be able to find out who and if anyone is watching that, right? So that is interruption. Then modification. Now, modification is something with the integrity if we talk about, right? Now, modification is what? If we talk about modification, so let's say if we are talking about modification, so the thing is, if I'm sending a hi to my friend, so someone in between, the attacker has succeeded in accessing the content of the packet. So while in between sending the packet, the content is changed. So what my attacker has written in between, he has written hello. So that is what that is your modification. And it is a direct attack on integrity, because what is integrity? Integrity means that my data, I'm making sure that my data, what I have sent, should be changed, should not be altered. It should be as is it, as I have sent, right? So that is your modification. So this is also inside your PMA. Now, the next one is replication. I'm just writing the first words, replication R. So what attacker can do, he can trap a packet, he can capture a packet, and he can replay it. Like there are tools with the name burp suite where we can capture the packets, we can change the things in that, and we can replicate those packets. Right now, this type of attack can be detected by using, if you are sending a packet or data with a sequence number. So if you have given a sequence number to every packet, that will be, if someone has replicated your packet, it will be detected. But if not, then it is a problem for you. Okay. Now, next thing that we have is ping of death. So what I'll do, I'll write it like this. Ping of death, POD. Now, ping of death, if we talk about, everyone knows what is ping. Ping is to find out whether your target is up and running or not. So if your target is up and running or not, you have to find it out. You will just do what? Let me show you uh, a small thing that you will write ping. Like if we want to find out that if Google is up and running or not, so it says ping google.com at, it says the reply from this thing, right? Now this is the IP address of Google, the IPv6 IP address, and it finds out that if Google is up and running or not, if you are getting any reply. So if you are getting any reply, that means it's working fine. Now ping of death is what? Sending large packets and a lots of packets. So your device with the server where we are sending this ping will be down for always, right? So as you can see in this picture, this M is doing what? This M is capturing the packets in between. Like B wants to send something to C, but he's capturing the request and he's sending his own request to C. So that is what, that is your ping of death. Now, not only ping of death, if he is sending a lots of pings to the C, but if he is not, that is in general will be called packet mistreating attack. Right now, the last thing that I want to tell you guys about this packet mistreating attack is your malicious misrouting of packets, MMP. So what attacker can do, he can attack a router and he can change the routing table of that particular router. Now what is routing table? The routing table is something where your all the things are saved, guys, where our packet has to jump. Your next hop is saved. If you don't have any next hop, what you will do, you will, your router will check what will be my next hop, right, where I have to head on towards, so that my path will be very less. So that is what, that is your routing table. Now if I'm changing the routing table, if I am able to change the routing table, let's take the example of the routing table, and you are there. What I'm doing, let's say I'm the attacker. So you have a router at your home, right? A router like this. So there is a table inside your router, and I'm doing what? I'm changing the routing table, and the next hop should be someone else's router, but I have changed it to my router. So I'm also getting your data, and I'm decrypting the data I'm reading. So that is what, that is also under your packet mistreating attack, right? So this was your attack about packet mistreating. Yep. Now next is routing table poisoning. So if we talk about routing table poisoning, so guys, what do we have in routing table poisoning? As I said, what we are doing, we are poisoning the routing table. Now this attack is one of the most effective attacks. What attacker can do here, attacker can modify the routing table. As we discussed in the last of PMA, that attacker can modify the routing table. Now, how he can do that? As you can read it over here, the R1 poisons the route of assign an infinite metric of 16 to this IP address and send this to other two routers when the periodic update timer expires. So if there is any periodic update timer and like periodically a routing table updates itself, and at that time if you are changing the IP address, the destination IP addresses, that will be routing table poisoning. So you can also install a rogue router. This can be your rogue router. Rogue means I can say your a fake router, right? So that can be your rogue router as well. Now, the attacker can do what? In this attack, he can redirect his attack from different ways to escape the firewall or intrusion prevention systems or inline and outline defenses that are there in your organization or in your place where you have placed that server. So, or next thing what he can do, he can simply redirect the traffic and he can perform a man in the middle attack. So someone there in the middle is there and he can perform that attack as well, right? So that is your routing table poisoning. Now next attack that we are here for is hit and run attacks. Now what is hit and run attack? Now, as I said, we have DDoS attacks, right? Now, hit and run attacks is mostly when you don't succeed in different attacks. You have performed many attacks, but you are not able to get any root access to that website, or you are not able to get inside that website, right? Now, then after that, what he does, hit and run. Hit and run is your DDoS. You are hitting it, you are hitting the website with lots of big chunks of packets, and now you are doing what? You are just running, right? So, the process of activating the anti-DDoS attack defense, each time the attack is performed, then stop it, take time, and then it costs money as well, and the network will take more time to handle the incoming traffic, right? So it will cost you money as well, it will cost you time as well, it will cost more many things, right? So that is what your hit and run attacks. It is also a part of it, but it is mainly like your DDoS attacks, right? So that is one more attack about your routing attacks, right? Now, next attack that we have is persistent attacks, right? Now, if we talk about persistent attacks, now it is a complementary for you guys. Now, persistent attacks. So, we're adding a complementary attack. Any different attacks on the servers and the PCs, the attacker injects a malicious code to the router using any vulnerability, and he gets the full control where he can redirect the traffic as he wants. Like we are redirecting traffic in PMA as well, right? So that type of attack, when we are redirecting the traffic to somewhere else as the attacker is wanting, as the attacker is needing, that is called your persistent attack, right? So we are sending wrong routing updates, or we are just simply deleting the configuration of that router, right? So many different attacks exist. As we know, most enterprises are attacked from their internal networks. So as we secure and protect our network from incoming packets, we need also to control outgoing packets as well, right? Now, the thing is how we can mitigate that. So that's a question from you guys, that how you can mitigate all these attacks, how you can, what will be the best practices from you guys where you can do what you can solve these queries and find out the things where you can protect yourself from these attacks. Now you know all the attacks, so you have to find out and reply to us that how you can find out the mitigation of these attacks. So that will be it for this video. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day and take care everyone. Thank you so much.